Hey everybody, today we have an amazing guest. Isn't every guest incredible? We have Makita Harvey, and she caught my eye on Instagram. She recently did a 15-day water fast, and I was looking at her page and I noticed through other ways she's had quite a health transformation. And look at her, she's radiating, and I think she's 46, right? Am I right?
47.
47, you look incredible. So
Thank
let's
you.
hop into it. Let's find out all the secrets how we can live our best life just like you. So how are you, Makita?
I'm doing amazing. And thank you so much for having me on your show. It's like a manifestation. I will say that.
I love it. That's exciting. I'm so happy to have you on. And we just love learning from people like yourself who are just living their best life inside and out. So you
Yes.
have a transformation picture on your Instagram, which I'll try put on the screen right now. And you can tell that like you look and feel a lot better in your 40s than you did in your 30s. So maybe before we get into the water fasting, take us through what originally happened with this transformation, unless this was to do with water fasting as well. I'm not too sure.
No, not at all. I actually decided earlier in my 30s that enough was enough. I struggled with my weight my entire life. I can remember high school being on a diet, college being on a diet. And then when I got into my childbearing years, I had two sons. After I had my two babies, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being sick and tired. We talk about it so much, but I think you have to get to the point in which you are just tired of being sick and tired. So I decided to really take my health journey seriously late in my 30s. People always think, you must have done sports. No, not at all. I did not get started until my late 30s on my health journey. And I just really started to hit it really hard. And I lost over 80 pounds in my
Wow.
late 30s. And it was just through traditional calorie counting and starting to lift weights, getting into fitness, really starting to love fitness. And again, late in my 30s, people think yeah, I started earlier, but I really didn't. And late into my 30s, I really started to get into it. And then I started getting a passion to be able to help other ladies on their journey. And then here I am.
That's incredible. And the fitness part of it is really huge too, right? That's what I've learned over the last few months. Like
Absolutely.
it's not just the food,
Yep.
the movement, especially as we get older too, right? The strength training so that we don't
Absolutely.
fall and break things and so
Absolutely.
that we are able to take care of ourselves in every decade. And because before we
Absolutely.
know it, those decades will be here, right?
Yes, ma'am. And you know what? I started walking. That was it. I started walking. Do what you can. People underrate walking.
Yes. Oh my
Just
God.
just
Walking
get
is
up
my
and
new
start
favorite
moving.
thing. Yeah.
That's my favorite thing too. And that's what I did. I would walk a little bit, start with 1 mile, get to two, get to three, a little bit of jogging here and there. But we really underestimate the power of just getting up and just walking every single day. And then I gradually started to get into strength training. I didn't know what I was doing with strength training. So it was just gradual steps that I started really understanding the importance of strength training and building the muscle. But if you just want to start, just start moving, just start walking. Definitely.
You know what? Walking has nothing has changed my life over the last few months like walking. It is such a game
Absolutely.
changer. It's free. And I've noticed so many benefits. Like I didn't realize in the Apple Health in my phone, it was tracking my steps all these years. So I
Yes.
see that I used to do like 1 to 2,000 steps a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to eat a lot. I was sitting and like that's bad for blood sugar. That's bad
Yeah.
for manifesting so many things that we don't want,
Absolutely.
right? So now
Yeah.
that I move 8 to 20,000 steps
Yes,
a
ma'am.
day,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
a game changer. I feel so much more creative. My core feels so much stronger. I feel so much happier and my body just feels so much healthier. And I watch so many videos nonstop with like all these walking experts and they all say like it's one of the healthiest things you can do and you're
It is.
preventing so many diseases
Absolutely.
and you're just strengthening your body because we want to have a healthy body, right?
Absolutely. And your mental health. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Like just getting out in nature, breathing, taking it in, gratitude, really just being appreciative to be able to move my body, finding a scenic route and just sitting and breathing and taking it in. The sunlight is so great just for your mental health and clearing, at busy mom like myself, kids, everything. My kids know mommy's gonna wake up and go for her walk. That is non-negotiable. Don't call, don't talk. Mommy needs to go for her walk in the morning. Meditate, gratitude, so good. Just overall health, walking.
Yeah, like you have to prioritize it because I
Mhm.
always track and I put in my Instagram stories. And somebody today was like, well, how do you find the time? And I'm like, I just make the time,
That's right.
even if I have to work less, because
That's
what's
right.
more important than our health, right? So that's a good thing. You go like right when you get up.
Right
And
when
I
I get
saw a video that said our ancestors used to walk like 15 to 17,000 steps a day.
up,
And that's what feels right. We're supposed to be moving a
we're
lot. So if we're
supposed
not
to be moving.
moving a lot, even if we're eating the right diet, I just do not think it's smart. I do not think it's setting yourself up for success. So
Absolutely.
are there other things you've done too to set yourself up for success in your health journey? Like, have you changed your foods along the way? And then like take us through different cleansing and the water fast as well, which you recently did, because I've never done one.
Yes.
So I'm interested in that too.
So let me tell you, I used to be one of those people that would see people. I'm going to start from here. I was a little bit of a hater. I used to see people doing, water fast and watermelon fast and the watermelon cleanse. And back in the day, I was like, that's doing a little too much. I can't lie. I was just hating. I would be like, because that I was the traditional person that, you got to make sure you're getting your protein in. And we should, um, but counting calories, making sure that you're doing all the things. And yes, I did lose weight like that. But last year, 2024, I all of a sudden started having all these health issues. And I chalked it up to perimenopause. I'm like, oh goodness, I'm about there. And it was just all kinds of things, hot flashes, joint pain, all this stuff started happening earlier last year. And so went to my doctor, and of course, getting to a specialist, takes about 5 months. I don't understand it, but it does.
Yeah.
And so in the meantime, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait for a diagnosis. I'm going to start changing my diet. So drastically started changing everything. Jillian, I was the meat girl. Like I was all about give me my chicken, give me my protein. I start every meal around my protein. And I dare say that I gave it all up.
See,
Earlier
isn't
last
it?
year.
I just love how we can have like all these different journeys along the way and like evolve.
Yes.
Like at one time we're a hater of something, but then we evolve to this and like that's okay. Wow, okay. I'm
Yes.
interested to see what happened then,
Yes.
you
I
know?
decided because you have to if you want something different, you have to be willing to do something different. And sometimes that's drastically different. And so I decided that with all the perimenopausal symptoms, the joint pain, I was waiting for my specialist appointment. I'm like, well, let me just try to do something different. I gave up meat, I gave up dairy, I gave up all the things and decided to do a raw protocol. And
Oh,
it's
I didn't
so
even know
interesting.
this. I'm so
Yes,
excited to
yes,
hear. Okay.
yes. Decided to do a raw protocol. It was interesting is that you had Dr. Brooke Goldner on your show because her program is the one I decided to adopt because you felt like you needed a roadmap. And then she popped up on my feed. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try her protocol out and see how it goes. And so I did her protocol. I did her hypernourishing smoothie every day. And I did see a lot of change in my body, a lot of change. I started to have more energy. I did lose a lot of weight. So a couple of months I did that, but certain symptoms still wasn't going away.
Mhm.
I was having hand trembling. I was having
Mm.
lots of joint pain. I was having heart palpitations. And so I did get to an endocrinologist and come to find out that I had hyperthyroidism.
No way.
So traditionally, there's a lot of hypo where your thyroid isn't producing enough thyroid hormone. Well, I was like that 5% that was hyperthyroidism, which means everything was all speeded up. I was dropping weight like crazy. I was shaking. I was having heart palpitations. And so my doctor decided to put me on medication to kind of slow everything down.
Yeah.
Now, I was kind of taken aback because we're talking, I was into fitness. I thought I was eating well. And here I am on medication. So I was not happy about it because I was on medication that had a lot of side effects to it. That if you take it too long, it's going to start messing with your organs and things like that. And then you're asking your doctor, okay, so what's going on? What is hyperthyroidism? Why? And it's all YouTube University and Google. You figure out well, it's associated with the autoimmune Graves. And you talk to your doctor and they're not really educating you on, why is, okay, so my immune system is attacking my thyroid. Why? It just happens. No,
Yeah.
no. Not, your autoimmune doesn't decide. Your immune system doesn't just decide it's going to attack your thyroid out of nowhere. There's something going on with your body. And it's so sad that you're asking your doctors for this information and they're just like, it just happens.
I know, like
No
there's
one
such a disconnect now, right? It's so, and then it makes you just feel even more on your own, right?
it's very disheartening. It really is very disheartening. So here I am, hyperthyroidism, on medication, and it did help that the symptoms, but we're just taking a band-aid and we're putting it on the symptoms. I need to figure out what's going on with my immune system. And that is what I set out to find out. So I love Dr. Brooke Goldner's protocol because it's all about autoimmune. Grace is autoimmune. So I kind of dialed in and decided to do her protocol even more. But let's fast forward to the new year. And her protocol, again, the symptoms it was working, but then I did it for months and months, but I decided to try the water fasting. Again, that came across my feed. And I was so intrigued about water fasting and the benefits of it and what it actually does. It's like deep, deep cleaning for your body.
Yeah, I
Deep.
know. I've interviewed people who have done it and they say like Jeff Juices, do you know him? He's done them and he says he would never be where he is today without them. I just interviewed Lauren Lockman in Miami. I'm just visiting Canada right now, but I live in Miami. We did an interview. If it's up, I'll put it below. So he runs a water fasting retreat and
Yeah.
he does a lot of water fasting too. And he's 64, 65, and the guy in person looks incredible. So like most people I know who have done it speak very highly of it. And it's one thing that I've always wanted to do but haven't done. So yeah, take us through your experience.
Well, fast forward to 2025. I was like, the whole new year, new me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see. And so I started following Lauren, a healthy alternative, that YouTube channel. And you had a young lady on your show by the name of Tiffany who did the
I love
21.
her.
Yes. I watched her over and over again. And I was like, if she can do it, I can do it.
And
She can
she's
do
a
it. I can do
musician.
it.
Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt, guys. I don't mean to interrupt. But she's a
No, you're
musician and
right.
she was performing. I think she did 21 days, right? And everybody take water fasting serious. This is not medical advice. Consult a professional, like people like Lauren,
Absolutely.
like do it professionally supervised.
Yes.
I don't recommend anybody do their water fast on their own. So that's
Absolutely.
just like disclaimer. I never have. I
Yes.
always like do a lot of research. But Tiffany, she did hers and she was still she was I think she consulted somebody and did it from home, but I forget. But she was still working on hers too. I was like, "What?" Like cuz you
Yes.
just think like you have to just rest the whole time. And mind you, it probably is just best to rest the whole time,
Yes.
but yeah.
Yes. A Healthy Alternative actually hosted their YouTube channel hosted a 21-day water fast. They
Mm.
actually hosted it. You can get the guide. I brought the materials. They walk you through it. And I was like, at first, I was just going to do 3 day. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do the 21-day. And scared out of my mind because,
Hmm.
like you said, I've heard people say you need to get, it needs to be medically supervised. And I'm that person. I research everything. I want to know about it. I want to know what I'm doing. I'm not going to go in it blindly. So, but I decided that I was going to do it. And then last minute, someone mentioned something about, well, if you have thyroid issues, you probably shouldn't do it because blah, blah, blah. So I immediately got anxiety. Well, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. And so I reached out to the gentleman from A Healthy Alternative. And he said there's been so many people that have been through the program with thyroid issues that have been successful. So I decided to go ahead and do it. Now, on Tiffany's video, she did talk about prep. So I took the prep very seriously. A Healthy Alternative, actually, I did a 2 week prep. We did a liver flush the first week where you're actually just eating raw. And the good thing is it all aligned because remember, I was eating raw already with Dr. G's protocol. So it was kind of
Hmm.
like everything was aligning. The universe was just aligning things. This was my logical next step is to do the fast. I
Hmm.
figured it was my next step. I was already eating raw because I do not recommend you do a fast going from the SAD diet into a water fast. People have done it, but I can imagine that the detox is not what you want in your life. That's how I feel about
Me
it.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did the prep. I took it very seriously. I was already eating raw. And so we did a liver flush the first week in preparation for the fast. And then the next week, I did a juice fast for the following week leading up to the fast. So I felt very prepared for the fast. So then the first day, I jumped out there, taught my fitness class. And I was like, oh, this is easy. I'm feeling good. I did my workout class. I was feeling okay. And then the second day, it was like, girl, what are you doing? It was like a truck had hit me. I was so tired. But I did take the water drinking very seriously. According to them, you are to sip your water. You have it throughout the course of the day. So I did put myself on a timer. Every hour, I would take a bottle of water and I would divide it in half. So at 30 minutes, I would have half, and then the other 30 minutes because I was low key a little scared that
Yeah, because I've heard Lauren says if you drink too much water, you can screw up your electrolytes, and that's
exactly.
really dangerous, right?
So I was definitely sipping just that half 30 minute, half 30 minutes. So literally my phone was going off all day long because I was put it on a timer to make sure that I'm getting the adequate amount of water in for those days. But yes, the first day, the second day, really tired, was like, what am I doing? But as I progressed through it, I would say the mornings was the most difficult, just getting up out of bed. I think day 4, I kind of had a little bit of a panic attack and it was almost like it's so mental. Water fasting is so mental. And then you add the thyroid, like somebody deposited that seed that because I have thyroid issues, that something was going to happen. So I was battling that. And I think around day 3 and 4, I had anxiety that I think my brain was like, girl, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. You need to break fast. And literally that little voice would get louder and louder because of your mindset and that it was screaming, stop, stop, stop. So I told my husband, I think I'm freaking myself out. Help me get out of bed. Go grab me some water. I need to breathe and go calm down because my mind is now freaking me out. So I got up, did some breath work. All is well. And literally, I felt the universe saying, all is well.
I
All
love
is
that.
well.
Yeah, I
And
know
I
we can
just,
really freak ourselves out
yes,
because
I
there's so
was.
much pieces of information everywhere. And then, yeah, it's easy to get freaked out, scared, get anxiety. Then that gives us symptoms. And
Yes.
wow.
And I just sat there and breathed, and all was well. I drank the water and I went about my day. And I was still working. My 10 and 7-year-old knew I was water fasting, but they didn't understand it because you're still mommy. I still want my lunch. I still want you to do everything that you do, whether you've eaten in 4 to 5 days or not. It's still mama. So I was still going to work full time. I was still being mom. And I'm a
Wow.
physical education teacher for kindergarten through 5th grade elementary school. So my job is very active. I'm with the kids all day. I was amazed that I was still able to function. That was the magic of it. Is that once you get into ketosis, and I would check it every morning to see if I was in ketosis. The magic of it was that you were still functioning. I was like, how? I'm at work right now. I'm standing there supervising my students and interacting with them, and my body, I haven't eaten in, let's say, 5 or 6 days, and I'm still functioning. That
Wow.
was that was the amazing part of it, is that, oh my gosh. So I would say for me, the hardest parts were just getting going in the mornings.
Yeah.
So I would make it my business to sit, do meditation. That really helped me clear my brain, do meditation, calm down, and set the tone for the day. I would sip some lemon water, and then I would be able to get up and get going. And then I was at work and I was great. I usually started having cravings toward the end of the evening, around 5 or 6. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
by the
Yeah,
end
that's
of
the
the
ultimate
day.
because at
And
least
let
on
me tell you, I still had to make dinner for my family. I still had to, and they're, And I can't lie, I was grumpy. I was definitely grumpy.
Yeah.
Because, and those are the moments that you feel like if you have the opportunity to do water fasting at Lauren's like tranquil place in, I think it's Costa Rica that he has his clinic. If you can
Yeah.
do that, or you can water fast
Yeah.
by yourself and go
That's the
away and do it,
ultimate.
that
Hmm.
is the ultimate goal. Because yes, mommy was still grumpy, and my kids were like, "When your water fast over, mommy?"
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
you were, and you had to exercise intentional patience. That was that I had to intentionally make up in my mind that I still needed to be patient. They didn't ask me to do a water fast, so I still had to show them grace and
Hmm.
still practice love because I still had to be mom to them. I would say around day 10, I started experiencing detox symptoms.
Wow.
You know what was truly magical is that the whole goal was to heal joint pain and heal areas around my thyroid. I developed this huge detox rash around my whole neck and around it wrapped around my thyroid. I have pictures. That was amazing to me. I had a whole
Wow.
rash. This whole area had a whole rash. All of this had a rash and it wrapped around my neck. And I
Wow.
put in a healthy alternatives group. I have a rash around my thyroid, and that is what I'm trying to heal. And they were all like, oh my gosh, your body's literally detoxing, all of that. I had a rash from day 10 up to 15. That was the most amazing thing. Like that my body was detoxing all of that. Lots of, and I know it's TMI, lots of mucus was coming out. I had the rash around day 9. I stopped having bowel movements up from the juice fast up to around day 9, which freaked me out because I'm like, why am I having a bowel movement right now?
Hmm.
There's nothing going in. So in my brain, I was like, I must be passing parasites. I must be passing parasites.
Yeah.
So it kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, I must be passing something because I'm nothing's going in. Why am I having a bowel movement? And so little Miss Me decided I wanted to do a water enema.
Did you pass parasites on the enema?
I didn't look.
Okay, yeah. You're so funny. Like, I can't look. I'll do it,
I
but I
was
won't look.
like, I am not looking. I was not looking because it just surprised me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have a bowel movement. So I decided to do a water enema for the very first time on a water fast. I don't know what I was thinking. Did the water enema. I did pass whatever was there, but I would not suggest doing a water enema on a water fast because I felt like it wiped me out. Like I just felt wiped
Yeah,
out.
that's what I would think too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Hmm.
just like, why did I do this? So
Who knows? It could maybe mess with the electrolytes and
yeah,
imbalance things too. I don't think that I would either. Yeah.
yeah. So I would definitely recommend not doing that. So I luckily I was able to just rest the rest of that day. Again, on my water, making sure I had water. I did do a little Celtic salt. I think it's called Celtic salt. I did do a little pinch of that, not a lot. Like literally, I would take it and pinch a little bit out and put it under my tongue every now and then. So I did do that. I did do mint water and cucumber water. So that kind of gave a little bit of a taste, especially the mint. But
That's a good idea.
yeah, it was a different flavor. So I
Hmm.
like that. And so around day 15, I started the fast the weekend that my kids go with their father. And so I decided, you know what? I think it's time to break the fast. And it was the weekend that they were gone. So I think it was a good time for me to break the fast and kind of start the refeeding process kind of before they come home. So it's kind of like they get mommy back when they come home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was perfect because my husband took me by the water, and I just needed to be outside and be by the water, and I broke it with some green juice.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that
I
makes
did
sense.
with some green juice. The 15th day, I just drank green juice and watermelon juice. I didn't do any food toward the evening because again, you hear those things. Don't just start eating whatever. or, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't see, but, and then the next day, I just had fruit and a little bit of, I think I just did fruit or that day. It was very light that following day after.
And you feel like it was
Um,
worth it, the experience?
oh, I'm thinking about doing a 7 day and then probably another
Wow.
week or so. During the fast, if you were to ask me that, I would be like, no, because were you in the middle of it? And I've seen people that would say, it was magical, it was euphoric. I can't be that. I won't be that person.
I get that. That's like, you know what? I had my last child in a natural home birth, and you see people that are like, oh, it was just euphoric bliss. And I was like, okay, this was the worst pain I ever had. It was pure torture. So, like, I get it. Everyone's experience is so different, but the fact that you would do it again, like, says that, there's benefits to it.
There,
And sometimes
absolutely.
it's in that pain and struggle that we get like the truest rewards, right?
That's right. I definitely a week after, and I believe because this is my week after. I believe that your body, and from what I've learned, that your body's still detoxing. I
Mhm.
felt like this week or so after, I was still having detox symptoms. I was still producing mucus from my lots of mucus from my throat. I know it's TMI, but lots of mucus from my throat. The rash like just started clearing up. There will be times, Jillian, that I would be sitting in the bed and literally I would feel this area like pulsating. That like if I were to say the weird things that happen during the fast, considering that is what I set out to kind of, it was just to clear the inflammation. Like
It's
I'm
so
like, okay,
insane. It makes you realize like how much is maybe built up inside of us or building up inside of us. And then it just shows how much work our body has to put to digestion. And then that's why the body can't put the work to getting like that mucus and getting, when your rash came out, like that wasn't happening before because you're like when our bodies have to work hardest at digestion, right? They put the most
I
energy to
absolutely
that.
believe
That's why I
that.
feel like people experience typically when they do experience benefits from these things, it's because you're giving your digestion a break, right?
Absolutely. And I think even just being on a raw diet, I'm thinking maybe my body wasn't even absorbing the nutrition from it because I was just stacking it on top of all the other stuff I just ate. Yes, I was feeling better, but maybe I was just stacking it on top of the stuff that was already inside of me.
Mm.
Because, and I'm thinking now that I've been able to clear out some things, now I'm able to really absorb nutrition that my body really needs to start healing. But those were the things that was happening that I was like, oh my gosh, like literally I feel like this is throbbing, like just throbbing. And I was having lots of pain in my shoulders, inflammation. I would wake up in the middle of the night, just, it wasn't hurting. It was like just pulsating. My shoulders would pulsate. My thyroid area would just pulsate. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that was the magical part of how wonderful our bodies are made. This
Mm.
experience, like I cried. I posted on my Instagram just real life footage of just in tears of realizing just how wonderfully made our bodies are, just how brilliant and smart they are. I never realized just how smart our bodies are. To
Isn't
just
it
switch over
true?
to ketosis and I'm not eating. I would be like, it's been 10 days and I have not eaten nothing. This is crazy. You
Okay,
know?
you're making me want to try this. Like, 'cause this is
Yeah,
one thing I've never done. I've done juicing and I felt incredible, and I've done like the monofruit stuff, and I eat all raw. But also, you mentioned you did juicing before,
I did.
so take me through or take us through like a little comparison. How did it feel? Because you did the juicing for like a week too,
I
right? That's a
did.
while. So what differences did you feel juicing versus water fasting?
I would say the water fasting, you felt a little bit more clear. You just felt a little clear, more clear, a lot more clear
Mm.
compared to the juice. And I think it's because I did the juice fasting. I actually did Dr. Goldner's hyper nourishing smoothie, and then I would do juices. So I was so used to doing the
Hmm.
smoothies and the juices for I had been doing that for months and months with the juicing that doing the water fasting, I think you felt a little bit more clearing and it's more deep that is getting in there.
Yeah,
That's
that makes sense. And I interview some people who do water fasting and they say like it's the most deeply spiritual experience. And then I interview some people who say, no, actually it wasn't at all. And like you would think it was. So in your experience, did it feel like, I don't know your beliefs in God or like spirituality, but did
Oh
you
yeah.
feel more spiritual or did you just feel the same?
I I felt like toward the end when it was over, that the spiritual part for me came from God. Look how amazing you made my body. I did not realize how
Mm,
amazing you made my body. That's where it was for me. To as far as like the feeling close, I think because of the physical discomfort of it, for me it was hard to get past. I'm like, okay, God, I'm doing this, I know you lined it up and I'm doing it, but I don't like it that much because I'm that kind of thing. But I think when it was over and seeing the moments that I would have in which you're like, you realize that you haven't eaten, but God has your body still going at 10 days and you haven't eaten anything. How am I
yeah.
still at work right now and I'm working? Those moments like that, I would have, I'm like, Lord, this is really dope. This is crazy that I'm being able to do this. And I think having those little magical moments of look how amazing God made our body, like those kind of moments made it worth it for me. And I
Mm.
think once it's over and you're able to look in hindsight I journaled it all. Look at all what you were able to do. You're like, God, now I know God literally walked me through that. I know it. I know it. That God just because I would hear that night, that morning, I freaked myself out so bad I was gonna stop. I
Yeah.
heard, all is well. It's okay. All is well. I'm here. So yes, you feel like God had to walk me through this because I couldn't do this by myself.
Mm.
Those kind of moments. And then to have the body still continue to detox a week or so afterwards, I know that I was still detoxing. Stuff was still coming out
Hmm.
this week as I transitioned into back to refeeding. I know my body was still detoxing. So it is to have the experience and it happened of just realizing just how wonderful, like I keep saying, how wonderful your body's made. Brilliant. It knows what it's doing,
It
but we
knows
got
what
to
it's
get out of the
doing.
way. We got to
Yeah.
give it what it needs and it can heal. I think that's the epiphany. We depend a lot on the medical system, but you realize just how wonderful that it's made. It's so smart. It's so brilliant. I think that's the joy that I got from this.
Yeah.
And now you were to ask me during the fast, you would do it again. I'm like, girl, no, we can't do that no more. Now, afterwards, once it's over and you look at the journey in hindsight, I'm like, I think I might just do 7 days again. And
Yeah.
my mom did 7 days with me too.
No way.
My
Wow.
mom is 73, and she decided to do the first half with me and she dropped 14 pounds her
And she had
first
a good
week.
experience.
She had a good experience. She wants to do it again as well.
Wow. See, it
Definitely.
just it just shows the level we can reach when we do calm down and not let the anxiety and stress get the best of us. Because I think if there are health problems and stuff, it can be really easy for that anxiety to get out of control, right? Do you have any advice for anybody out there who might be currently like facing a health crisis and their anxiety is sort of spinning through the roof? Or even, I don't know how long it took you to get your diagnosis, but sometimes it can be frustrating for people because they have symptoms and it can't even forever get answers to figure out what it is they're dealing with. So then
Yeah,
it's like, how do you even face the crisis of what you're dealing with if you don't even know exactly what the problem is you're dealing with too?
absolutely. I think it is your faith. It is your faith. For me, it was my faith and just trusting that, just definitely changing my diet and changing what I was fueling my body with. I think that when you are fueling your body with good things, you're going to feel better. So I started from there. That's why I decided to just, you know what? I'm eating the dairy. I'm eating, yeah, you think you're eating healthy, but really, are you eating healthy? That's what I
Hmm.
had to reevaluate. It's like, yeah, you're eating healthy. I was still having sugar. I was still having processed foods. I was still having wine. And
Hmm.
it was, and if you had, and I think you have to be real with yourself. I
Hmm.
think if you're going to get down to the root, of what's going on. Why is my body now having all these health issues? You got to be real with yourself. And I had to be real with yourself. It's like, okay, you're having wine, but you do know you might be having a little too much now, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
it's being real. I had to be like, Makita, no, you got to cut the wine out. You know, you're having it, you're saying you're having a glass here and there, but are you really? Or are you having too much? And it's being, no, you're having too much. Let's be real about it. And I had to be real about it. It's like, okay, you got to cut that out now. You have to find other ways to deal with stress of being a mama and working, running a business, other than I need to have a glass of wine at the end of the night. Because now, because let's be honest, a glass of wine now turns into two, and then it turns into three, and then you wake up and you drink the whole bottle.
That's
So
why I don't
again,
drink anymore. That's
that's
me.
it.
That was me.
And,
And then it's two bottles. And then
yeah,
it's like, okay,
and,
this is not
and
good.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it's easy to kid yourself because I love my husband. He'd be like, well, it's not that much, babe. I'm like, yeah, yeah, it is. You know, yes.
Yeah. And then it just creates more problems. And
Yes,
you're like,
exactly. Because
okay.
then you wake up, you're tired the next day, and then the wine drinking turns into binging. You know, you're
Hmm.
binging on snacks. And then I had to be real with myself. Yeah, I'm doing that. And so I had to stop. You had to cut it all out. And then then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and cut out the meat. I'm gonna cut out the dairy. I'm gonna cut out the processed foods. And I think it's you have to find what part are you playing and what's going on in your body. Because
Mm.
at the end of the day, again, you have to be realistic with yourself of, yes, I was playing a part in why I'm where I am right now. Yes, you were eating lots of processed food. Yeah, you're saying you're eating healthy. You're low key eating healthy, but you are having binges. You are drinking too much wine. So I started from there and then switched my diet and then gave it
Mm.
time to see would that create change. And it did create change into my body. But I did apparently need a little bit of help with my thyroid, with my condition, with the meds. So meds you have their place. It's just not what I wanted to be dependent upon.
Hmm.
So use the meds until you figure out what the root cause is, because you got to figure out what the root is before you
Hmm.
can change anything. So I think it is being real with yourself to decide what part am I playing and change what you can change, because we do have control. And oftentimes we put all of our control into our doctor's hands and say, well, I'll wait till I go to the doctor. I'm not willing to give up this. I'm not willing to give up the wine. I'm not willing to give up the processed foods because I don't emotionally, I need that in my life, you know? So it is deciding what part am I playing and what's going on and what control can I have to fix the part that I'm playing. And I think God, your relationship with God will tell you that. You know,
Hmm.
you know that little voice is like, yeah, you know you're drinking a little too much, but you're not listening, you know? So start from there and start taking ultimate responsibility for where we are and what's going on in our health is important.
I love that. And do you still feel like you have a ways to go with your health with the thyroid stuff, or do you feel like you've made like huge progress or reversed it already?
I think I've made huge progress because, and why I think the water fasting was all aligned, because interesting enough, I did chat with Lauren about wanting to do water fasting with him,
Hmm.
but he was like, because I was on the particular medication that I was on, he wanted me to cut it down before I would consider the water fast. So interesting enough, I said, okay, well, I'll talk whenever that time comes. Interesting enough, a week or two later, the doctor wanted me to get off the medication
Wow.
because I was hyper and now I swung the hypo
Mm.
because apparently I was over medicated. So he wanted me to just stop the medication and just see if thyroid would reset itself. And so then I was able to water fast because I was off the medication. But I was scared because I was like, oh my gosh, this medication is stopping me from having the hand tremors and the heart palpitations. So I had become like, I need that. So the symptoms would stop. So I was kind of afraid that if I get off the medication, all of it's going to come back.
Hmm.
So I'm happy that I'm going into my third week, and which is why I want to do the water fast. I was like, well, maybe this will help those symptoms not come back. Maybe if that
Oh,
inflammation is removed around my thyroid, maybe these symptoms won't come back. So
yeah.
that fueled the water fast. So thank God, this is week 3. I am not on any medication. I'm not on any beta blockers for my heart palpitations. I'm not on the medication for the hyperthyroid symptoms. And I have not had any hyperthyroid symptoms. And I'm going into week 3.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm so happy for you. Like, this
Yes.
is huge.
Yes. So I go back to my endocrinologist in 2 weeks for them to check my blood levels to see where we are. But I wake up every morning with gratitude, like, oh my gosh, I'm not dripping with sweat at night. I have not had any, I was having night sweats like crazy at night. And like I said, my hands would tremble. I have not had any of that. And this is, I was off my water fast last week. This is my first week refeeding. I stopped the medication when I started the juice fast. So yeah,
And that's scary. Those symptoms can be scary.
they
So,
are absolutely.
and that can affect like your psyche, your subconscious, and then start affecting your life. And who knows what can happen then. So, like,
Yes.
thank God. I'm so happy that you're experiencing improvements. And what would you say are like maybe some of the top benefits that come to mind overall from the juice fast
I would definitely say I always think of it like flooding my
or
body.
water fast? Did I say juice fast? I meant to
Yeah,
say water
yeah,
fast. Yeah.
yeah.
I meant to say
So
water
I
fast.
did both, so that's why I was
Yeah.
answering. But
Yeah.
I would say the benefits are, I would say, if you educate yourself first on what is happening internally in your body, is going to motivate you. That's what motivated me. When they said, even after day 3, that your body is eating up old cells and tumors, and it's going into autophagy, and it's literally just going in and just giving your body a deep cleaning. That's what motivated me, is that if you're interested in it, go educate yourself on what's actually happening on day 2, day 3. That's what I did. I would type in day 10, what is my body doing right now?
That's a
And
good
that will
motivator because I was
motivate
going to
me.
say people have a hard time getting through those first few days. So, like, maybe that's a
Yes.
good motivator, right?
Yes. Yeah. Even after 24 hours, 16, 17 hours, what's happening to your body? They even have apps that will tell you how many hours you're fasting and what exactly is happening to your body. So
Cool.
that's what motivates you. If you could go in and say, wow, my body's doing this after 24 hours, that's what motivates you. Wow, after 36 hours, this is what's happening inside my body. I think that's what really motivates you. And if you would really clean your diet up days before your water fasting, is the detox is not going to be as bad as it would be just coming straight off of. Crazy enough, I met a person that their last meal was this huge Chinese buffet, and then they did the water fast. I was like, oh goodness, you braver than I am.
Yeah.
But if you would gradually make sure you're cleaning your diet up ahead of time and then go into it, it's actually not as bad.
Hmm.
But the first few days, yeah, it's rough because you've never done it. I had never done it before, so that
No.
was like, yeah,
I
it,
love
it
how it
was.
was such a good experience for you. And like you've been in the health game in general for a long time now. So what would you say, like all these years, all this experience, or like the top couple things that come to mind, the greatest things ever in your whole journey that you've learned about health?
Health is wealth, and that used to be such a cliche statement. Like I would hear people say health is wealth. You're like, yeah, it is. But when someone's telling you you have to be on medication and that you have something that they would say, once your thyroid is damaged, that there's no coming back from that. That people would say, once you have this chronic illness or this autoimmune, that there's no coming back from that. There's no cure for that. So the cliche statement, health is wealth, health is wealth.
It's the
It,
greatest
it,
wealth.
it truly
Yeah.
is. And taking and a lot of, and it's taking control of your health. You are not stuck. You have every opportunity to take full control over your health. And even clients that I work with, I would say, no, 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 you're not stuck. You have so much more control than you think that you have. And oftentimes we like to take that control and put it in the hands of our physicians. No, you have control through your channel. There's so much motivation of
Hmm.
people that decided that no, I'm going to take my health back because this is within my control.
Well, yeah, look
And
at Dr. Brooke Goldner too. Even the protocol you were on, I've interviewed her. I've been to her house in Texas. She's like 48, I think. Her and her
yep,
husband are one of the healthiest looking couples I've ever seen. And I think I forget how many decades it was ago, what year it was exactly. It was decades ago. She was
yep,
diagnosed with lupus and given like 6 months to live and told it couldn't
absolutely.
be reversed.
Yeah,
And then when she reversed it and went to a doctor and they did blood, I think it was a different doctor after that too. And they were like, you never had lupus. What are you talking about? And she was like, I did. Like, it's like, so there
absolutely.
is, that's the good thing about the world we live in now with the internet, everybody being connected. You can see all these hopeful stories, right?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think is next for you? Are you going to stay on the raw foods? Like I know you said you got off the meat, the dairy, the processed food. Do you think long term you could stay off that or you'll
I think
incorporate it
so.
a little bit? Or like what's
Absolutely.
your plan for like long term health now, knowing what you know now?
I think that I'm pretty positive. And like I said, I was that person, asked my family, they're like, you're not eating meat, huh? Not eat meat because I was so obsessed with making sure I got my health and
Yeah.
fitness. You got to
Yeah.
eat protein. And I haven't had it in so long. And I actually did blood work and my protein was in the green. And I hadn't had any animal-based products at all. So I thought that was crazy good. But I haven't had it in so long that I definitely think that I'm gonna stay plant-based for
Yeah.
sure. Right. I love doing raw. So what I've been doing this week is it's almost like raw to five. I have this huge salad, fruit, all raw, and then I'll have lightly steamed vegetables. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I've been doing. Crazy enough, Jillian, your girl never liked avocado back in the day. I was
Me
like, I
too.
have to
Before I was
find.
raw, I didn't. I thought they were gross. Now I
I was
love
like,
it.
and I used to
Yeah.
try it different ways, mash it up, put it on toast, and I was like, I don't like it. I am crazy about avocado now.
Same.
Crazy about it. But now I'm like I said, a raw to four, then I'll have steamed veggies. And that's kind of been my thing that I've been really, really enjoying. And definitely plant-based. I definitely don't see myself going back to eating meat, dairy. I just don't see it.
And you
If you're
have like this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Because
You
when you
have
find that you're feeling so good, you're like, why change it? When I eat all the like you just having I have a big huge salad waiting for me right now. When you eat that and you realize all the colors and the plethora of flavors and that you're like I'm fueling my body with this right now and your body craves it. I never thought in a million years that my body would crave vegetables like it does. I used to
true.
crave chicken and
Yeah.
crave cheese
Because we
and
crave
my
what's in
body.
us, we crave what we're feeding in our microbiome. We crave what's in us. And then you feel like, because you're big into fitness, you feel like you have the same strength with your strength training and stuff, like good energy and strength, even
I do.
without the other stuff.
Absolutely. I'm just getting back to it because when you do deal with hyperthyroid, you go through what they call muscle wasting, which was insane. It was almost like you can feel your muscles wasting away. If I would bend down, my legs would shake. If I would try to lift,
Mm.
my muscles would waste. So I got to the point where I can walk, 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 but I couldn't really strength train. And now I'm just getting back to the point of now adding more strength training to my diet. And in fact, this week, what was really interesting is that I've been having a big, huge salad, and then I'll have some fruit, and then I'll have some veggies. And I was telling my husband, I said, it is amazing how I work as a physical education teacher. I used to come home tired, just standard American diet,
Hmm.
fitness American diet. I would be done by the end of the day. This week, like, I'm like, I still have energy.
I
Like,
love
you
it.
still have energy at the end of the day. And I'm not, I can just remember just falling asleep tired because my job is so active, having, again, that traditional diet. But this week, just feeling so much energy, having a big salad and you don't feel bloated. You don't feel tired in comparison. I'm actually going to a barbecue of having the traditional barbecue dinner, and you're like, "Ooh, honey, that food was
Yeah.
good. Now I'm gonna go take a nap."
Yeah.
It is
Exactly.
night and day, and I'm telling you, Jillian, I'm coming from back in the day, low key hating. I'm telling
I
you.
get it. I love the
I'm
honesty. No,
just
I get
low
it.
key hating on people. I would see how they doing the watermelon fast and this they are doing. And I would be like, they are doing too
You're
much.
like, these people are crazy.
And here I am, even on my platform, I've been on Instagram for about 10 or 15 years. So if you scroll down my Instagram, you'll see my high protein meal prep with my everything.
Yeah.
And here I am talking about fruits and vegetables. I've had my followers be like, "Oh, so we're just eating fruits and vegetables now."
And how did they finally diagnose that you had the hypothyroid? How did you finally realize that?
Blood work.
Yeah.
They did a whole thyroid panel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thyroid panel and my T3, T4, all of that was hyper. Everything was just jacked up. It was very hyper. And like I said, hyper is they don't to me in my opinion, they don't know a whole lot about hyper. Hypo is much more general. Like if you type in information, you're gonna get a lot of hypo. Hyper is just like 5% that of people that deal with hyperthyroidism, where it's too much. Your thyroid is producing too much hormone.
Well, thank God, like you're having progress and positives with it and getting it sounds like under control because who knows what could happen if that wasn't the case, or if you kept on eating and didn't make the changes and or have luck with it changing, right? Then who knows what
Absolutely.
happens long term.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think with thyroid issues, you definitely have to, like you said, with your disclaimer, get clearance from your doctor.
Hmm.
I just kind of like went out on a limb with doing the water fast with my thyroid issues, but definitely, clear it and make sure that you get that feedback from your doctor. Like I said, I just kind
Yeah.
of decided to go ahead and do it, feeling like it was just the logical next best, the logical thing to do for
Yeah,
my.
and I'm curious, what kind of water did you use? I'm big into hydrogen water now, and I think if I do water fasting, I'm going to use hydrogen water. But what type of water did you use on
I,
yours? Because I can be confusing, right? People probably
I
have no
heard about
idea.
distilled, but I did use spring.
Okay, yeah.
I did. I did use spring. They did recommend distilled. I think Tiffany mentioned that she used spring water as well.
Okay.
I tried the distilled. I didn't really care for it, so I just did the spring water.
And so you do notice difference. Well, yeah, you don't look like your muscle is wasting now. So there is hope for somebody out there who might be experiencing that or experiencing these negative symptoms that they can come back around because your muscle looks great. You look like you're in total health. But what about the weight loss? Because I know since I've been getting like 10 to 20,000 steps a day, I used to be 130. Now, I guess because I'm also not doing weight training yet, I can't seem to get above
Mhm.
120. So like I want to do something like a water fast, but I don't want to like lose a lot of weight. So that I know that there are people who are like, oh, it'd be great to lose a little bit of weight, but also people who are like, I don't want to lose weight. Did you lose a lot of weight on the 15
I
days?
I did. I lost 16 pounds.
Wow, that's a lot to me.
I did.
Because you're pretty small too. You lost 16 pounds. Wow.
Yeah,
Holy.
I lost 16 and but I do think of it, I did think a lot of it was water as well. I haven't weighed
Yeah.
myself since, but I do think it was a lot of it was water. And so I wouldn't worry as much just because I think a lot of it is water weight. And
Yeah.
once you start refeeding, I think that it won't seem as bad once you start refeeding again.
Yeah. And I
But
know, yeah.
I was like, oh Lord, I ain't been 130 ever in my life. When I got on the scale, I was like, oh my goodness. And yeah, I saw it. I was like, ooh. But once, even just this week, I started refeeding. And then I was like, okay, I kind of like this. Okay. So
Were
yeah.
you really happy when you broke it and you had like the green juice and stuff? Were you like, oh, this is
Hey,
nice?
oh my gosh. Yeah. I was sitting here like, oh, yes. Yeah.
I love it. So we're not headed back to the wine, I don't think. Not headed back to the
I have not,
wine, the
no.
dairy, the processed food. This is
None of
good.
none. I couldn't imagine. I stopped drinking earlier last year when I first started just really taking it seriously. I thought I was healthy, obviously, but again, it's being real with yourself. It really is being real with yourself, taking stock of your habits and the habits that's not serving you. And the
Hmm.
bottom line is, drinking the wine wasn't serving me because I was starting to really, it was becoming something that I feel like I needed to have to relax and needed to relax to chill. And I think sometimes we tell ourselves those stories that, no, I don't, I don't have a problem. And yeah, it was a problem. Let's be real. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was. I was drinking a little bit. I was drinking too much. So I think once you come to that realization of things you need to change and get really real, then you can really make things happen with your health for
Yeah,
sure.
and with better habits, because you know what? Like I always say, one habit turns to the next habit to the next habit. If we're drinking many times, we're not going to get a good sleep. Then we're going to wake up. We're going to be like,
Yep.
okay, let me have coffee and a bagel, and then
Yep.
let me have this crappy thing, and then oh, let me go hang out with these people I wouldn't usually hang out with and drink again. And then it's just like before you know it, all these habits add up,
It
right?
absolutely is a domino effect.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
life is better without alcohol, I think.
It is.
Yeah, we're both saying that. We both used to drink a lot. So listen up, people. It's better. Let me tell you. Okay, anything else you want to share about your journey that you think we missed, or any words of inspiration to end off? And let everybody know where they can follow you. I'll link all your stuff down below.
I think the biggest thing is, and I think I've repeated it several times, is that you have control over your health, and that we're not stuck. We really
Mhm.
aren't. Changing what you're feeling your body. It all starts from there. Your health starts from what you are putting into your body, and it also starts from the thoughts that you are thinking. All of it is connected. What you're eating,
True.
what you're fueling your body with nutritionally, and what you're fueling your body with mentally. What are you listening to? Your music. What are you waking up and feeling your soul and your body with as soon as you wake up in the morning? Are we looking at our phones, or are we connecting to source first? Are we breathing? Are we meditating? When we're riding in the car, are we listening to things that's going to create a best self mentally? Or what kind of music we're listening to? It all is connected together. What you're fueling your body with mentally and physically all matters together. That's my biggest
True.
advice.
True.
It,
I was just thinking about my 10,000 steps this morning. Well, actually, I did 7,000 today so far. And some of the hardcore rap I was listening to on my walk.
yeah.
I'm like, you're right. I do have to reevaluate. So, because it's true, it does affect us, the songs we
I,
listen to.
yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago somebody mentioned that, because I'm the same as you. You listening, you grooving, and you're
Yeah.
hitting it. But someone was mentioning the lyrics, just the lyrics. I'm thinking I'm listening to the beat of it, and just going
Like,
at it. But you stop and you're listening to the lyrics. You're like, oh wait.
yeah, everything really affects us. It's really crazy. So, yeah, why not just go to a higher level in every area that we can control? Eat better, move more, listen to better music. If we're going to consume something, make sure it's positive and live a better life. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing. I think you're
Thank
so
you.
positive. I just love
Thank
your
you.
journey. I love how you've experienced all this healing for yourself and gave water fasting a shot, and how it was such a good experience, and how the
I,
raw foods were. And I just have enjoyed seeing how your journey's evolved. And you've inspired me. So I'm sure you've inspired everybody out there. So everybody go follow. I'll put all your links down below. And I'll put Tiffany's video on the screen right now because that one was really good, the one that inspired you. And I'll
yes, it
put
was.
one with Lauren Lockman. He's the
Yeah.
water fasting expert. So go get a water, make a juice, watch one of those, and be sure to subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.